What is up, boys and girls? Jerry O'Terry here, live from New York. It's Tuesday afternoon, and I'm here with another First Impressions video for you. Check it out. Late last night, Ryan and I went to the cinema. We went to the movies to see a film that I wasn't so sure we were going to see, that y'all have been itching to hear about. And I'm going to level with you right up front. I was not excited to see this movie. I didn't really want to go. I even texted Ryan. I was like, selfishly, I would not like to pay top dollar to see this in the evening. I'd rather go to a cheap matinee or something like that. And the movie, of course, that I am talking about, forgive me, is Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The 2014 reboot of the, classic thing from childhood that you love. I'm not a Turtles expert, alright? I'm gonna be upfront about that. I'm not an expert, but I did grow up with the Turtles. We had the movie, the live action film, we had the cartoons some, we had the action figures, we had some of the video games. So the Turtles were around, alright? I played with the Turtles as a child, at least a little bit. I'm not sitting here being like, this is my life, but, I like the Ninja Turtles, I'm down. So, when I heard about this movie, I wasn't really thinking about it one way or the other. I mean, everyone freaked out over this, partly simply because of Michael Bay. Everybody hates Michael Bay nowadays, and I understand completely. I feel like he is an easy target, but most people freaked out because, Michael Bay is gonna ruin the Ninja Turtles, and I think that's the first thing we need to address. This is not a Michael Bay movie. Michael Bay's company produced this. This is a Platinum Dunes production. Platinum Dunes, who you may know, they do a lot of horror movie remakes. They remade the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, the Amityville Horror, The Hitcher, stuff like that. And lately they've been branching out into more original territory with the Purge movies, and at least slightly different reboot territory with this movie. So yeah, Michael Bay did a lot of the talking for this, partly because Michael Bay, of all the guys involved with Platinum Dunes, is the biggest household name. If you're a horror fan, you might know the name Brad Fuller. Brad Fuller and Andrew Form are the other guys who are involved with Platinum Dunes, and I get the sense that they are the ones who do the day-to-day stuff over there, because let's face it, Michael Bay is busy. He's making his own movies, he's directing stuff, he's looking at lingerie models. He's doing whatever Michael Bay is doing, so I get the sense that while he does, oversees things, I get the sense that the other guys are the more day-to-day people, but you're making Ninja Turtles, Michael Bay gotta talk about it because he's the big guy. So this is not a Michael Bay film, which is very apparent when you watch it because A, you can see what's going on, and B, it's an hour and 40 minutes long. It's not nearly 3 hours, which is great. So, also, I don't know, Michael Bay must slather his actors in glycerin or something like that because it was so refreshing to not have everybody, in a perfectly glamorous and golden sweat all the time. It was just neat. This film is directed by a guy who you might know. He did Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning for Platinum Dunes a while ago. He did Battle Los Angeles, which I actually caught on TV a while later, and it's a pretty effective movie. I mean, it's not great, but it does its job well enough. And he did Wrath of the Titans and stuff like that. So, this film, how does it work out? How does it stack up? Is Michael Bay's company shitting on our childhoods? And you know what? I'm gonna say, not really. I'm gonna level with you. I had fun with this. You know what? It's not that bad. It's really not. It's not that good either, but it's also not that bad. For everyone who's freaking out over this, I think a lot of that panic is a little unfounded. It's an okay-ish movie, and it does get some stuff right. I had fun when I should have been having fun, and I also had fun when I probably shouldn't have been having fun, which is and isn't to the movie's credit. But, look, what's the most important part of a Ninja Turtles movie? The Ninja Turtles themselves, Shredder, and Master Splinter. How are those things? Those are the best things about this movie, and that, in and of itself, is good. It's like, if you're gonna walk out of a Ninja Turtles movie thinking, yeah, the best stuff is probably the Turtle stuff and the stuff with Shredder and Splinter, they at least did something right. I mean, this movie centers around April O'Neil. She wants to be a serious journalist. You know, she wants to be a real reporter, but she's doing all these fluff pieces. So she's out on her own, trying to shed some light on this Foot Clan action, getting her nose into all sorts of places it doesn't belong, and then she sort of stumbles upon the Turtles because of that. And, you know, Megan Fox, again, everyone hates Megan Fox. She does a fine job. I mean, she's good. She's fine. She does a good job. It's fine. It's really fine. Will Arnett is in this, playing April O'Neil's cameraman, who is like the most tall, handsome, well-groomed, charismatic, humorous, charming cameraman you've ever seen in your life. He's a lot of fun. I really liked Will Arnett. And William Fichtner, who you've seen in a lot of things, he is in this. He does a great job. You know, he turns in a good performance, and when the movie does inevitably ratchet up into more ridiculous territory, he follows suit in what I thought was actually a pretty nice way. So the cast is pretty good, and the guys who voiced the Turtles, Johnny Knoxville and some other folks, they also do a good job. Their camaraderie is really fun, you know. They seem, even though they're CG, the guys seem to play off each other really well. And each of the Turtles has a personality, just like they did in all the comics and the shows and stuff. Donatello is the more sort of nerdy, technical guy, and then Michelangelo is obviously like the dude, you know. And a little more modern on that, a little more hip-hop culture influence. And then Leonardo's the leader, and Raphael is the troubled, you know, rebel. And they have a nice little family unit, you know, sort of put together with, you know, Master Splinter and all that, who is voiced by Tony Shalhoub. So, you know, you get all the necessary stuff, and the tone overall, I know a lot of people say the movie takes itself too seriously, and when the trailer came out, it certainly seemed that way. Because, you know, again, I wasn't very excited about this movie going in, and the trailer didn't help me get excited because the trailer looked like every other trailer I've ever seen for a movie like this. The trailer made it look like this was going to be a super serious movie, and it, for the most part, does know how to have fun, and it's not like a Transformers movie in the sense that it takes a break every now and again and shoehorns humor in. There's a lot of humor that comes naturally from the characters and stuff like that. So, you know, it's not high art, but it's fun, you know. And even when it's not about the Turtles, you know, it's like, the thing about this movie is that I get the sense that they paid the most attention, script-wise, to the Turtles story, which is good, but everything else kind of it doesn't get paid attention to. It's like, there's a lot of really horrible logic or just really sort of glaring flaws in the plot. There are a lot of moments where you're like, you have this thing, why didn't you show it to these people? Like, or why are the Foot Clan just never around until you're trying to get to the next location? Like, the Foot Clan in this movie is a pretty ineffective organization, except for Shredder, who's really scary. Like, Shredder is really well done. You know, at first I was like, oh, here we go. And then he put that suit on and got blades everywhere, and he was a formidable villain. I was like, how are they going to defeat this guy? And the action and the effects and stuff like that when it comes to the actual fights is really good. So, like, it's competent for all the reasons you want it to be, and it's all the connective tissue that sort of pales by comparison, but it becomes, and I hate to say this, but it becomes sort of goofy after a while with all this sort of dumb logic or like glaring omissions in logic. It's still fun because you're sort of throwing your hands up being like, what is going on? Like, the plot is pretty simple. It's not that the plot's hard to follow or anything like that, or that the plot in and of itself is dumb, but, you know, there's just a lot of stuff in there where you're like, really? You didn't have her... Really? There's like, there are a lot of really weird decisions that characters make that seem to only serve the plot. Something about the characters is like, characters will make decisions that are so sort of illogical and dumb at times where I can't even blame the characters anymore. I can't even call the characters stupid because it's so screamingly obvious that it's a bad script decision, you know? So it's like the scene where April O'Neil decides not to show the photographic evidence to her boss, only to show it to someone else in the next scene, is a little ridiculous. Again, I know I freaked out on Transformers 4 for being so damn long, but I really think that helps. It's like, I feel like Michael Bay could, oddly enough, take a couple notes from this movie, because it's not hyper gratuitous in a lot of the ways Michael Bay movies are, and it also doesn't outstay its welcome. Like, an hour and 40 minutes is just fine for this kind of movie. You get enough of the, ooh, these bad guys are bad, and you get enough of the fun stuff, and you get enough of the action, and it's not overwrought, you know? It's fine, like, and that's what also, I guess, makes it that much less offensive in a certain way, is like, it's not gonna sit around for 3 hours pretending to be more important than it is. It's an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, and then you're done, you know? It's fun. And I get the sense that they knew that. So, that's good. Could the film have been better? Yeah. I mean, are there simple ways in which it could have been better? Yeah, it's like if they had just taken a couple more passes at that script, but, you know, be that as it may, it's never not entertaining. It never really drags. And when there's action, you know? There's a really cool opening sequence that's like animation, you know, that sort of looks like the old comics and stuff like that, so that's neat. You know, for what it is, you know, it's a good time. How is it as a movie? It's fun. It's definitely fun. It's and that sort of helped to even out the tone for me. It's like, it was fun when it wanted to be, and when it was trying to be more serious, it was a little bit goofy, but hey, I was still having fun. So, you know, maybe it was just because I had low expectations, or I was tired of all the, you know, people freaking out over it. But, you know, it's an alright movie. You catch it at a matinee, or you watch it at home even, you're gonna have a good time, I think, if you're open to it. You know, it's definitely, I don't think it's shitting on anybody's childhood, really. It's fine. It's fine, guys. It'll be okay. So yeah, Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 2014. Yeah, fun. So yeah, I guess they're already gonna do the second one. What would you guys like to see? What's your jam? You know, they've done Shredder. I know a lot of people are like Bebop and Rocksteady. So what do you want to see in another Ninja Turtles movie? Let's talk about that. So yeah, comment, like, follow us on Twitter and stuff. And until next time, until this weekend or whatever, I am Jerry. The movie is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and cheers.